Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. How's the mic? Let's do a quick mic check. How is the microphone? Are we in HD quality? Are we in HD quality? Richard, you need to check your DMs. We've been getting some DMs about Man United while you've been away. Glazers, Glazers, Right, before we get going with this show, actually, I'm not a software engineer. I'm technically a software developer. There's a slight difference. The other day I was called, what was I called by somebody? Somebody called me an IT technician for Queensbury Promotions. That's no joke. Somebody online the other day said, "You're just IT support for Queensbury Promotions." I actually thought that was quite funny, to be honest. I said, "What do you do for a living?" Obviously, we didn't get an answer, did we? Didn't get an answer. There is a difference. There is a difference between an engineer. Richard's more of an engineer type deal. He's the one with the brains in this Glazers out operation. LD Phoenix, you're in Queensbury's Pocket Ultra. Of course, I actually think I'll get this fucking microphone. Do you know how much this microphone costs? People online slagging me off. Fucking hell. This microphone costs like a third of most people's rent. Okie dokie, right, let's get going. Right, I'm going to give my opinions on Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Now, let me apologise. Let me quickly first say, if you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to be a part of the chat and get your questions and comments in, please feel free to subscribe. There are 68 people already in here within the first 2 minutes of the show. So with the first 2 minutes and 5 seconds of this show, we are already at nearly 70 people in the chat. Please feel free to hit the like button. On this channel, you know the rules. We don't do pay to play. Everybody gets their say. That rhymes. Maybe I should be a game show host like Bruce Forsyth, RIP. We don't do pay to play. Everybody gets their say. So you don't have to pay me money, i.e. super chat, to get a comment. Also, we will be bringing a panel in to chat with you. So Sharon will be on in a sec. Riku's still at work, so I don't think we'll be getting Riku. If Jason Walker's listening, Jason, let me know if you want to jump on, if you're in, and etc, etc. Maybe we'll even get some callers in, okay? But we're going to be coming at this from a slightly different angle. Let me just quickly say my piece, and then I'm going to let everybody else say their piece. First and foremost, I'd like to apologise for being a massive hypocrite, because earlier on today on my Twitter page, which, to be honest, I don't really do a big thing on Twitter these days, to be honest. I mainly use Twitter as a DM machine to talk to people in boxing. So I don't really do the whole Twitter thing anymore. But I did comment on Twitter today. And I'm trying to find my post. I said, look, I don't want to talk about ticket sales, contracts, purse bids. What's the other shit people talk? Proof of funds. I don't want to talk about any of that shit, to be honest, right? I'd rather just talk about the actual fight itself. Now, I'm going to contradict myself because it's impossible to do a show like this without talking a tiny bit about splits, purse bids, whatever they call it, fucking proof of funds, all those things that those boxing accountants, you know the boxing accountants out there, boxing accountants Ltd. You guys know what I'm talking about. I might trademark that before that ends up on another show. Boxing accountants Ltd. Should I trademark that? Do you remember I had a trademark on what was that thing I had to call? Dagenham Motors. Was it Dagenham? Not Dagenham Motors. Hold on. What was that I had? Toby players will know. Something Motors. Pro Motors. That's the one. Do you remember that one? Pro Motors. I spelled accountants wrong, but forgive me. Boxing accountants Ltd all over Twitter. Is it going to be 60-40? Is it going to be 80-20? Trying to get away from that stuff, and I want to talk about the fight itself, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, what we're going to be focusing on today is the following. I'm going to try to talk as little about purse splits, pay-per-view buys, ticket sales, ticket deals, proof of funds, contracts, terms, emails, and all the other bullshit that's about to begin. The boxing accountants online are right back in business. Press 1 if your timeline has been full of purse split talk all day. Press 1. Press 1 if you've just gone on to Twitter to see how our magnificent new Prime Minister Liz Truss is getting on, and all you've seen is a timeline full of 60-40, 80-20, no 75-35, you know, that hard kind of thing. Trying to kind of get away from there. It's trying to kind of get away from that, isn't it? Trying to kind of get away from that. Trying to kind of get away from that. Trying to kind of get away from the purse and the penny pinching, because I'm not getting any of this money. Yeah, a lot of you have seen it. I don't get the obsession. Like, a lot of dudes investing so much time to it, you would think they're the ones getting fucking paid. Nevertheless, it is what it is. What we're going to come at this today is this right for Anthony Joshua? And I'm going to give you my opinion, and then we're going to get some callers on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, is this deal right for Anthony Joshua? Because AJ just had one hell of a breakdown, didn't he? No disrespect, but it's only like 2 weeks ago. I mean, he had probably the lowest moment of his career in the boxing ring, in that post-fight interview disaster extraordinaire in the middle of Saudi Arabia against Alexander Usyk. I'm surprised the Saudis have let AJ out of there, by the way, after the way he carried on, threatening to beat people. What's the price of what's the punishment in Saudi Arabia for threatening to beat people up? I'm surprised Anthony Joshua's still here. Surprised he's not locked in a Saudi jail. Do you know what I mean? Surprised Liz Truss ain't having to do diplomatic negotiations to bring him back. What is the punishment over in Saudi Arabia for threatening people's lives and threatening to knock people out? Or have they really sort of toned it down recently? Have they really sort of toned it down? It is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. But I'm going to get on to Tyson Fury's video in a minute. Tyson Fury's just doing what Tyson Fury does. I love Tyson Fury as a fighter, but sometimes you do wish this guy would stop talking. But it is what it is. We'll get on to it in just a second. Let's listen. For those of you who spent all day today on Twitter rambling on about what the split's going to be, Lord King Tyson Fury has come up with this gem. If this video will just play anytime soon. 1 second. It looks like we have some technical problems.
Hi guys, quick one. I'm being bombarded with messages on how much am I going to pay AJ. Everyone's saying 80, 20, 70, 30, 75, 25. The actual answer is I've offered him 60, 40, 40% of this amazing fight, because I want this fight to happen. He doesn't have any excuses now not to take it. He can't say I've lowballed him, offered him 20%, 30%. I've offered the people 40%.
All right. It's cut out a bit. There's a problem with the internet down here. But please tell me the sound worked for that. Did you guys hear the sound for that? Let me know if you heard the sound, and the sound worked for that nicely and clearly. Sorry about that. We're having a few technical problems. But that's Tyson Fury basically coming out and telling you all right, what the split's going to be. So there you go. So, all right, good. So the sound worked, right? Did it work? Did you hear that nicely and clearly, yeah? So there you go. So no more, well, for the minute, there's no more questions needed, all right, about, splits and what the split's going to be. You've heard what the split's going to be because you've heard it there from Mr. Tyson Fury himself. Do you know what? I wish we could go back to the fucking good old days, I wish we could go back to the good old days of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Do you remember those good old days when people just shut the fuck up and made fights happen and we didn't have to hear fucking 50 TalkSport interviews a day? I mean, TalkSport is chocker full of bollocks this morning. We've had Frank Warren on there. We've had Eddie Hearn on there. We've had Tyson Fury telling everybody the fucking blow-by-blow on his Twitter page. What the fuck are these two doing on there? One sec. We've had Tyson Fury giving the fucking blow-by-blow on his fucking Twitter page. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'd like to go back to the good old days, innit? Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you like to go back to the good old days when people just fucking made fights and shut the fuck up? Like them Fury versus Wilder days where we just, fights made, all sorted. Do you remember that? Fights made, all done. These days we're getting the blow by blow. Do you know what? Let me tell you something right now. Frank Warren's doing an Eddie Hearn. Because Frank Warren's on fucking TalkSport telling everybody what's going on. Frank Warren's on fucking TalkSport telling everybody what he had for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Frank Warren appearing this morning telling everybody that he had fucking a banana, he had a bowl of All Bran, and he had some shreddies. I mean, he's just going on telling everybody, you know, the fight's not even remotely close to being made, right? Not even remotely close to being made. And he sounds exactly like Eddie Hearn. Here's him on TalkSport today. And you can see there, Frank Warren confirms offer to Joshua. And Frank Warren's now, you know, turning up and saying, oh, you know, we made an offer. That offer will be sent today. It's just, we're back here again, aren't we? We're back again, all over again, aren't we? Oh, Jesus Christ. I am not looking forward to the next fucking 6 months of this shit. Or however long it will be. We're back to it, aren't we? We're back to what British boxing does best. Not a lot of great fucking fights, but plenty of fucking offers, plenty of interviews, plenty of offers, plenty of talk sport, plenty of fucking IFL TV, plenty of term sheets, plenty of contracts, plenty of broadcasters. But at the end of the day, what are we actually getting in terms of fights? At the end of the day, it's still Johnny Fisher at his dad's house with a banjo and a bucket of KFC, isn't it, at the end of the day? But it is what it is. Should Anthony Joshua take this fight? Listen, there's two perspectives on this. I think most people, right? I think the overwhelming feeling that I'm getting online is people are saying this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Anthony Joshua. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Anthony Joshua, which he just quite simply cannot afford to lose. So I'm just adjusting this microphone. Would you guys agree with that? They're saying this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity which Anthony Joshua can't afford to lose. That's what most people online are saying. They're saying that if what Tyson Fury is saying about the financials is true, he would be a fool not to take this opportunity. That's what's being said online. I don't think it's as clear-cut as that, and I'll tell you why. Only a couple of weeks ago, we were having conversations about Anthony Joshua taking a break from boxing, right? He looked mentally cooked in that post-fight interview with Alexander Usyk. Would you agree with what I'm saying or not? Would you disagree? Press 1 if you would agree with what I'm saying there, or press 2 if you disagree. That Anthony Joshua looked mentally cooked during his post-fight interview after the Alexander Usyk fight. Did he not look to you like a man who needed a break? With all due respect. He looked to me like a man who needed a good 6 to 12 months out of boxing. That's what he looked to me like. He looked to me like a man who needed a good 6 to 12 months out of boxing. I think he suffers from anxiety. And quite a few of us thought that we were looking at some possible mental problems that were servicing, you know. Quite a few of us thought that post-fight interview from Anthony Joshua showed that, as well as some of his other conduct, you know, his conduct with the students, his conduct in certain interviews. We've been worrying about Anthony Joshua's mentals for quite a long time, haven't we? So we all kind of decided, didn't we, on our last show that this is a guy who needs time out, you know? Again, he's a guy who's chopping and changing coaches, isn't he? When did Anthony Joshua go and visit that? Remember when Anthony Joshua did that world tour? Remember? He was flying all over America, Britain, and Lord knows what, interviewing coaches. Do you remember that? Trying to get a team together for the Usyk rematch. He must have interviewed about 500 coaches for that job. And then he settled with Robert Garcia and Angel Fernandez. Robert Garcia and Angel Fernandez are now under fire for licking his asshole. Because Angel Garcia is in the corner in the Usyk fight telling him he's winning every round or something. Do you remember that? Was it Angel Fernandez who told him that in the corner? You're winning every round, Angel. He told him something like that, didn't he? So Angel Fernandez is now getting heat. Robert Garcia is talking to the media saying Anthony Joshua wasn't aggressive enough and he didn't believe in himself enough. So you know Robert Garcia ain't going to be in AJ's camp next time around. So what are we looking at with Anthony Joshua, right? On the surface, we're looking at a great opportunity to earn a lot of money in a world title fight. Probably the least amount of pressure he will ever be under. Would you agree with that? I would say Anthony Joshua goes into this fight. If he takes this fight, if this fight can happen, right? Would you say it's probably the least amount of pressure he will ever have in a big fight? It's funny how stupid boxing fans are, isn't it? But I think this will be the least amount of pressure he will ever go into in a big fight, because he will be an almighty underdog in this fight. He will be an almighty underdog in this fight. Let me just quickly say, Joe Wall, I agree with you. When you're telling the world you can't do 12 rounds, you don't have the punch output of smaller heavies, you're in trouble. I mean, it was just a complete outpouring of grief, wasn't it? You know? And we all agreed on the last show that Anthony Joshua needs time to get a proper training team together. He needs time to decide where he's going to be based, where he's going to be situated. Robert Garcia wants to train him again and wants him to be based in America. So he needs to decide where he's going to train, where he's going to be based, who's in his team. There's all sorts of things that he needs to sort out, in my opinion. So I don't think it's a slam dunk that he should necessarily take this fight, because am I right in thinking, without cheating and looking at BoxRec, has this man lost 3 out of his last 5 fights, or am I wrong? It's a man that's lost 3 out of his last 5 fights. 3 out of his last 5 fights. Here's my point, and I could be wrong on this, I'm just thinking out loud. If Anthony Joshua really believes in himself, which he does, and he believes in the long-term rebuild job, right? What I'm saying is, if he believes in himself, and if he believes he's here to stay, and if he believes he has a long career in boxing, and if he believes he has 4 or 5 fights left with DAZN, would it not make more sense for him to go away, sort out his training team, have a comeback? I know no one wants to hear this, but I'm just putting the options out there, okay? Get a proper training team together, get his training base sorted out, have a comeback fight. He's lost 3 out of his last 5 fights. Have a comeback fight. Go and get some therapy. Absolutely needs therapy. And there's nothing wrong with therapy. I was in therapy for 10 years. So there's nothing wrong with therapy. Get some therapy and sort himself out properly. Because let me ask you this question, and I'm going to start bringing people in. So Shevin, if you hold on, I'll give the link to you soon. But I just want to make people think, that's all. I'm not saying that you have to agree with me. I'll read all your comments out in a second as well. But I just want to offer an alternative opinion and see what you guys think. But he's had problems dealing with pressure for some time, hasn't he? He's had problems dealing with pressure for some time. Things haven't been right in the Anthony Joshua camp, the Anthony Joshua team. They haven't been right for a long time. What you saw against Alexander Usyk, yeah, was like when you open a pressure cooker. You know when you take the lid off a pressure cooker and all the fucking steam just comes steaming out? Psst. That was building up for a long time. You could hear it and hear what he was saying. You could hear the way he was speaking, what he was saying. He was saying, people expect so much of me. They're expecting me to move and punch and do this and do that. I'm 18 stone. I can't do this. I can't do what you're asking me to do. I can't meet your expectations. That's what Anthony Joshua did. He broke down in the ring, didn't he? And he basically said, I can't meet your expectations. I'm not the guy that you think I am. That was in between threatening members of the crowd and threatening to beat them up. So, I know all the fans want to see the fight, right? I know all the fans want to see the fight. I know the fans are interested in the fight and things like that. I'm just trying to come at it from another perspective. Because a couple of weeks ago, and that Usyk fight was what, 2 weeks ago, was it? Am I right or wrong? Was the Usyk fight 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, he was at the lowest moment of his career. How do you go from that into a fight with arguably the best heavyweight on the planet? What happens if he gets knocked out by Tyson Fury? Do you think DAZN are going to get their money's worth? Do you think he's going to have to see out that 5-fight deal with DAZN if he gets knocked out by Fury? Let me tell you something right now. If Anthony Joshua was to get knocked out by Tyson Fury, I think that would be the end. Let me, what do you think about that? And by the way, we've got 145 people in here and only 40 views. I'm about to put the super chats on if the likes don't come up. If we don't get these likes up, I'm about to turn on super chat. You're going to have to start paying to play. $1.99, $2.99, and then I'll read your comment out. If you'd like to be part of the chat, please feel free to subscribe and have your say. I'll be bringing Shevin in shortly and possibly some other people as well. I really appreciate the 145 people listening to the show right now. So I know as fans, right? I know as fans we all want to see it, but what do you guys think about that? It looks to me like, let me tell you, let me get Anthony Joshua's response up. Let me get that up. That's what I was supposed to go up. Anthony Joshua's responded to Tyson Fury on Twitter. He said, I'm ready for December. Right? That's what Anthony Joshua said. He's already responded to Tyson Fury. He basically said, if you're serious, go and talk to 258 management. I don't do any talking online. We can do this fight. Here we go. Credit to Michael Benson for this tweet. This is Anthony Joshua's response. He's ready. Yeah, calm. I don't do the online discussions just for clout. So if you're really about it, shout 258 management. I will be ready in December. So that's Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua himself is saying, I will be ready in December. I will fight you. All I'm saying is this. I'm thinking, what's best for the fans is that we see this fight. That's what's best for the fans. But is it really the best thing for Anthony Joshua? A man who's lost 3 out of his last 5 fights. A man who's nearly been knocked out in his last 2 fights. He was on the verge of getting knocked out in both fights against Usyk. I thought the second fight he was outstanding, considering that he has a lot of technical limitations, right? But he looked ragged. I mean, Usyk looked ragged in that round 9 and 10 or whatever it was. But AJ did look like he was on the verge of hitting the floor a couple of times in both fights, right? So he's taken a bit of a he's taken his fair share of punches, hasn't he? In the last 2 fights. So he's come off 2 extremely hard fights against a guy who may turn out to be the true best heavyweight in the world, against a man who is, I'm not one of these people that fucking spends all week arguing about pound for pound lists, because I'd rather spend more time in a boxing gym than do that. But he's arguably a lot of people's pound for pound number 1. I mean, you're talking about, he had 2 hard fights with the greatest fighters to ever live. So my point is Anthony Joshua trying to take a shortcut here? That's the question I wanted to ask you. What do you guys think? Do you think he's sitting at home thinking, do you know what? I don't really want to have to build up again, I don't want to have to go through and fight a Chisora. I don't want to have to go through and fight gatekeepers. I don't really want to have to go through 3 and 4 fights that I can't get up for. Do you think that's what it is with AJ? Do you think it's that he's not ready, body, mind and soul, but he doesn't want to do the work? Do you think that's what it might be? Like, he doesn't want to have to go through a Chisora, a Joe Joyce. Not because he's shook. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's scared. I don't come out with that crap, yeah? You know what I mean, though? It's a bit of a mountain, isn't he? He's complete for the first time in a long time, right? Anthony Joshua's on the verge of being completely out of the title picture. Anthony Joshua hasn't been out of the title picture since Charles Martin came over here in a Burger King hat and got sparked out in about 2 rounds. That's how long it's been. Last time Anthony Joshua was out of the title picture, I still had hair on my head. Is that what it is? Do you think AJ's looking at the mountain to climb? The 3, 4, those 2, 3, 4 fights, dangerous fights. Zhang, I think Zhang's a dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. You'd expect him to win, right? You'd expect him to win, but Zhang's a dog. Isn't it? That Zhang is a fucking dog. Zhang's no joke. I mean, you'd expect, if AJ's the fighter who we think he is, then yeah, he should be getting rid of Zhang. I think Zhang's on my if you guys want to see my pound for pound list, I think I've even got it up here. So look, this is my pound for pound list. I'm sure I've got it. Oh, I just unpinned it. I'll find it later. But Zhang's number 1 on my pound for pound list. Zhang the man. In my opinion, that's the real baddest heavyweight in the world. Anyway, these ain't Hrgovic. You'd expect AJ to get Hrgovic out of there. But Hrgovic is a dog. Would you agree with that? You definitely expect AJ to get Zhang and Hrgovic out of there, right? But they are dogs. They showed that in their fight. Like, when the going gets tough, Hrgovic, that guy took some massive shots. He's going to bite down on his gum shield and keep coming back, isn't he? So, what does he want to do? Does he want to go and do that on DAZN? Or is he just trying to fast track? The problem with fast tracking is, when you fast track or when you cut corners and you haven't done the work, you can get yourself in trouble, can't you? Do you think that's a fair comment? Get your comments in now. I will read your comments and I'll bring some people in. What do you think about that? I know as fans we want to see this fight, but is it actually what's best for Anthony Joshua? Or is Anthony Joshua trying to cut corners? You can see it's a long road back. And you know what? All this talk about, I'm here to stay in boxing. 3, 4, 5 years, I'm here to stay. I've got a long deal with DAZN, I'm this and that. Do you think that actually that might be a load of bollocks? And he's been thrown a lifeline here by Fury. He's been thrown a once-in-a-lifetime lifeline by Fury to have one more shot. The problem with it is, if he gets done by Fury, I think that's it for him, to be honest. I don't think there's anywhere for him to go. To be honest, it's going to be a very, very long road back. It'll be a longer road back than it would be right now. If Fury does him and he gets knocked out by Fury, for me, that's... Unless he wants to lower himself and start, filling out the O2 against fucking Daniel Dubois and Derek Chisora for a fucking interim title. That really could be it. What do you guys think? Let's go through some comments, and I need to bring Shevin in. Sorry. Let's see. Let's go and bring some comments in. Sorry about this. Right. 186 in the chat. Please feel free to hit like. It's not just me on the show. I think I'm going to bring some other people in as well. If anybody wants to come on, let me know. We'll see how it goes. Right, let's go. Right, if Joshua Fury don't happen, it will be Eddie Hearn that kills it. Let me say this quickly. And I think I've done a pretty good job of doing this show without talking about purse bids, splits, TV broadcasters. All I will say is this, and I want people to... If you don't listen to anything I say tonight, I want you to listen to this. There are a lot of people that are making big assumptions about this fight. They're making assumptions about what channel it's going to be on, who the promoter's going to be. All I'll say to you is this. I wouldn't make any assumptions. Anything can happen. As far as I'm aware, isn't Tyson Fury a free agent? Anything can happen. Anything. So I'll tell you that now. Don't be surprised if it ends up with a promoter or something or somewhere that you're not expecting. That's all I'm going to say to you. People are saying things assuming certain people are with certain people and not, and I don't think we know the full story. Does that make sense? I don't want to go into all that fucking stuff that doesn't really get around the fight, but I would say this, and when I say this, you know it's bad. Don't write off Eddie Hearn yet. I mean, listen, nobody would like to see him out of business more than me, but don't write Eddie Hearn off yet. Something can happen. We don't know. There's certain fighters that have been mentioned. I don't think anybody knows who they're with, who they're with, and what the agreements are. So, like I said before, just the best thing to do is to just wait for the fight to happen. Let me tell you right now, if the fight doesn't happen, I will not call Anthony Joshua a ducker. He's not ducking Tyson Fury, and he wouldn't duck Tyson Fury. And Tyson Fury wouldn't duck Anthony Joshua. They're fighting men who will fight each other. Like I said before, you put these two in a car park, yeah, and give them enough bevies, and they go at it. They're fighting men. So no one's scared of anybody. All right. It is what it is. Let's have a look. Sorry about this. Popcorn Boxing says, what's your opinion? What's your position on Charlie Sims saying Tony Sims should train AJ? Jesus Christ. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that. I think Tony Sims is... I don't know if Tony Sims... I think Tony Sims... Let's see how Conor Benn does against Chris Eubank before we start hyping up Tony Sims. I'm not a believer in Tony Sims, but let's see what magic tricks he can teach Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. Let's see. Gary Harrison says, win or lose... Let me get this email to Shevin, sorry. Win or lose, he's got a mega deal with DAZN. He might as well roll the dice. Let me ask you guys a question. If Tyson Fury knocks Anthony Joshua out, do you think he continues boxing? If Tyson Fury KOs him? Just you don't have to agree with me. I'm just asking. You bring Shevin in. What do you guys think? Tyson Fury KOs Anthony Joshua. Let's say if he wins... And by the way, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying, right? If that happens, if Tyson Fury was to convincingly beat him... I've just sent you the link, Shevin. If he was to convincingly beat Anthony Joshua, do you think Anthony Joshua will continue to box? Do you think he'd have the desire to want to continue to box? Right now, if this fight doesn't happen, right, the person who's going to get the blame, and rightly so, is probably Tyson Fury, because he's the one who's fucking, again, taking it upon himself to run his mouth and tell everybody what the split's going to be. And last week he was retiring, and then the week before that he wanted 500 million to get in the ring. And, you know, like I said before, I love Tyson as a fighter, But he doesn't make it easy for himself, does he? I mean, just look at the last couple of months for Tyson. The last month for Fury's been a fucking disaster, isn't it? He's retiring, and then he's coming back, and then he's retiring, and then he's coming back, and then he's fucking lost the Ring Magazine title for free, giving up the Ring Magazine belt for free. And then he's coming out of retirement to fight Usyk, and then Usyk don't want to fight December. Now he's talking about fighting AJ. Manuel Charles making Instagram videos. The last month has just been a disaster, man. Let's just be real. The last month has been a disaster. Hype2B says Fury's ducking Usyk. Yeah, these guys are all ducking each other. They're all scared of each other. Do you know who the real hard men are? Hype2B. Do you know who the real hard men are? The real tough guys are the guys who sit on the internet and talk shit. Guys like me. The YouTubers. We're the tough guys. Guys who sit behind the mic and call other people cowards and say they're scared of fighting fighters. The ones that don't show up in the gym. We're the tough guys. It's guys like Fury and AJ and Usyk. They're the pussies. They're always ducking each other, aren't they? Fury, AJ and Usyk. They're all duckers. We're the tough guys sitting here, 7 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah, typing bollocks away on Twitter, on YouTube comments. We're the tough guys, innit? Crazy D3 says Shevan's here. I'll bring Shevan in just a sec, Shevan. Give me 30 seconds. Crazy D3 says he'll retire and then come out of the closet and take. Oh, God, Jesus. How did that slip through? Can't read that. Martin Butler says it was smart by Fury to publicly announce the split. Like I said before, I'd like to see everybody involved, including Frank, shut the fuck up and just make it behind closed doors and just let us know when it's done. As fans, we don't need to know who's getting what money, how much, when the offers were sent, what time they were sent, who received what emails. We don't need to know that shit. I thought there's a cost of living crisis going on. And I thought there's a cost of living crisis going on. People can't make up their minds. 1 minute they're saying they can't afford to pay their heating bills. Next minute they're wasting all their fucking electricity bill on Twitter talking about purse splits. Which one is it? Is there a cost of living crisis or not? If there's a cost of living crisis, right, take your fucking mobile phone charger out of the socket, yeah, save your electricity and stop using it to chat bollocks about purse splits. Is that a fair comment? Press 7 if you agree, press 8 if you disagree. Fucking hell, I can't work it out. 1 minute it's supposed to be cost of living crisis. People can't afford electric bills. Next minute people are sitting there plugged into the fucking outlet. Dude's sitting there plugged into the national grid talking about fucking purse bids and purse splits. What is it? Can you pay the bills or not? Which one is it? Can you pay the bills or not? They want me to pay them, innit? Yeah. They need to, what are they saying? They need to stop these energy bills going up. They need to cap the bills. My lecky's going up way too high. So I've got to pay your fucking bills, yeah? I've got to pay your bills. If I've got to pay your fucking electric bills, take your phone out of the charger and stop talking bollocks on social media. How about that? Fucking hell. Right. Let me appreciate it before I get in trouble. Hold on. Let me just put turn on my headphones. Sorry about that. Okay, hold on. Okay, and let me just turn this on. Sorry about that, guys. I apologise to all my lovely Labour voters out there. Okay, brother, you're on. Sorry about that. You there?
Yes, I'm here, Ultra. And first of all, someone's got to pay these Team Mom bills, okay? Can you hear me? Because I cannot hear you.
I can hear you clearly. Sorry about that. My mic's just playing up. Say that again. Sorry.
No, I said someone has got to pay these Teen Mom bills. And that needs to be you.
Oh my, yeah, it's me. I've got to pay for it, innit? I've got to pay for it. What do they call me? They call me IT support of. One minute I'm IT support of Queensbury. Next minute you want me to pay for your fucking electric bill. All right, Shevan. What do you think there? I mean, listen, I think everybody here is going to want AJ to take this fight. I'm just like I said before, it's only a couple of weeks ago, Shevan, we were saying, this guy, no disrespect, but he needs to see somebody. He needs to see somebody professional about some of the problems and the issues that he's going through, right? And he needs to take a break from the sport. Less than 2 weeks later, we're now all demanding that he takes a 40% split to take this fight over Anthony Joshua, take this fight with Tyson Fury ASAP, or he's a ducker, Shevan. Doesn't boxing change so fast, is it, Shevan? Boxing just changes so quickly.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. Now, me as a fan, of course, I would love to see the fight, right? Who wouldn't love to see this fight? It's a fight between two of the top 4 or 5 heavyweights in the world who've never fought each other. However, if I were a manager, if I was a promoter for Anthony Joshua, there's two routes. There's no way in hell I would take this fight. I don't care if Fury was giving me 80%, because he's going to be a heavy underdog on this fight. He's likely to lose. Most likely he's going to lose this fight. And then you're talking about Anthony Joshua, a prize fighter, losing 4 out of his last 5 fights. He'll be 33 years old. And there's never been a fighter in his mid-30s who's lost 4 out of his last 5 fights that has recovered from that. And there never will be one. That's just the structure of how it works. And what'll happen, he'll lose that fight. The belts will get fragmented. He can't fight Usyk again because he can't beat Usyk. Some over in PBC will have some of those belts. They will give Anthony Joshua or Matchroom a 95-5 split because they hate them, of course. So politically and financially, and for Anthony Joshua, the other route to not take in the Fury fight is somewhat you suggested before. I said this a while ago. Go ahead in December and fight Zhang, which is not an easy fight, but it's a good way to build your confidence and build your brand over in China. Fight Zhang. Then you go fight Hrgovic, who is a real strong position as a mandatory for one of those belts as well. And then you fight Dylan White by August next time. You increase your activity. You have 3 fights where you're heavily favored in. You also have 3 fights where you make some good money in. And you have 3 fights that put you right there in position to compete for a title by the end of next year. Now, in defense of Anthony Joshua saying that, in his defense, right? And the other side is, it's so difficult to go back to the position that he had to go back to take those 3 fights. Because those are the kind of fights he was taking when he was fighting at the O2 Arena, fighting the Charles Martins of the world. And to go back to do something that you've already done, that is so pride swallowing for a prize fighter.
Keep going, Chev. I'm listening. Absolutely. Sorry, I muted myself. Keep going.
I got one other metaphor to make on that, right? This guy I used to know, just go to my gym a few years ago, and he was from India, and he was a physician back in his country. And the way it works in America, because America is such, medical training or medical elitist in terms of how we view people with medical license and medical degrees. If you're a doctor in Africa or India or Australia, anywhere else in the world, right? And you come over to America, America does not recognize the medical credentials it took you to get a medical degree, okay? So he was a doctor. He came over from India to America, brought his family here. They told him, even though he went 4 years of undergraduate, even though he had 4 years of medical school, 3 years of residency and experience, they say here in America, the best you can be is a nurse or a physician's assistant, okay? So if you want to be a doctor here in America and make a doctor's salary, you're going to go back to medical school in America for 4 years and then be a residency for another 3 years. And he stayed here for a year or so, and then he ended up moving back to India. Because again, he went through all that to become the peak of his career, the peak of his profession, to be a physician. And now he's got to go back and start that process over again. 99 people out of 100, whether it's medicine, whether it's sports, whether it's prize fighting, they're not going to do that. Whether it's Anthony Joshua in boxing, whether it's Russell Westbrook taking the 3rd or the 2nd role on the team, these superstar athletes who've been superstars at the peak for so long, once they get there, there's a route. Sometimes you got to take 3 steps back to take 1 step forward. And once you've been at the top of the prize, guys, egotistically, they cannot do that. They cannot do it.
Can I just say, we've got 200 now in the chat. We've only got 56 likes, so there you go. I think my comments about the cost of living crisis have gone down like gone down like flies to shit on a hot summer's day. Having said that, if you are a Tory like me, please feel free to hit the like button. And if you'd like to be a part of the chat and ask your questions, please feel free to do so, and we will read them out without charging you, aka Super Chat. Shevin, are you saying that? And by the way, if Mr. Jason Walker or any of the other regulars are listening and would like to call in, let me know and we'll give you a link and you can call in as well. I'm still holding hope that we might be able to get Riku on. I'm just going to contact Riku one more time because it's 8 p.m. He might be ready. Let me just say, Shevin, are you agreeing with me then that if Anthony Joshua was to accept this fight, which he has accepted it already, to be honest, obviously it's not the same as actually fighting, but he's accepted the idea of the fight in principle. He says he's going to be ready for December, all right? Would you agree with me that this is Anthony Joshua trying to cut corners Not in a bad way. I respect Anthony Joshua. Obviously, he's a fighter, he's a warrior. But do you think this is Anthony Joshua not wanting to do the work? And he needs to do a lot of work on his style. He needs to do a lot of work on some things in the gym. He needs to get a proper training team together. There's all kinds of work that he needs to do that he hasn't really done for some time. He couldn't do that work. To be honest, really, Shevin, Anthony Joshua was supposed to do the work before Usyk, but obviously he had that rematch clause with Usyk. You know, he should have taken in my opinion, he should have taken the step aside money and gone away for a bit, regrouped and come back. He didn't, right? So what I'm saying here, Shevin, is Anthony Joshua's really had two opportunities, hasn't he? He's had two opportunities to go away, right? Go away, rebuild himself, rebrand himself, and sort himself out. He could have taken step aside against Usyk and gone away, right? And let Fury and Usyk beat the shit out of each other and get a winner takes all. And he didn't take that. And he's now got an opportunity now, and it looks like he's not going to take that either. Do you think that AJ is just trying to fast track himself? Do you think that what this is really about is Anthony Joshua doesn't have it? I don't want to say doesn't have it in him, but Anthony Joshua doesn't want to climb the mountain again. He doesn't want to climb the mountain again. And if there's a shortcut to get to the top again, anything can happen in the sport of boxing. Anthony Joshua can knock anybody out at any given moment because he's a massive puncher. He can knock anybody out at any given moment. Do you think he's shortcutting the work? Does that make sense, Shevin? What do you think?
Yeah, I do, but I do think that there's value in taking a shortcut from him. And what I mean by that, to jump on part of what you just said a few minutes ago, you said he had an opportunity to take step aside money, right? And that would probably be best for his career in terms of preparing him to win some of these top fights. And he chose not to do it, right? Then you also mentioned something about, he need to sort his training team out, figure out what he's going to do with his trainer. And I'm going to defend the Robert Garcia. I'm going to defend Robert McCracken, Angel Fernandez. I'm going to defend all those guys. And I've said this a few times before. And this is kind of a new thought I've had over the past year or two in paying attention to sports, so especially boxing. People oftentimes criticize fighters that have these yes men around them. And a situation like Anthony Joshua, he's like most of these prize fighters. He had yes men around him. We saw the first Usyk fight. We kind of thought he had those yes men around him for a while now. He got rid of them, at least one of them, right? Got rid of them. And he replaced them with other yes men. So for me, in situations like that, it's not the yes man around the prize athlete. It's the prize athlete that's choosing to have the yes men around them. So if there's no Angel Fernandez, if there's no Robert Garcia, Anthony Joshua is going to choose someone else to be another yes man because that's what he wants around him. Because that is why I think counseling could really do really wonders for him because it can let him know that it's okay to have someone around you that's critical. Kobe Bryant couldn't win jack shit until he got Phil Jackson around him, a coach who does not need him, a coach that has credentials to say, I know you're a superstar in your regard, but I am a superstar in my regard. I don't need you. So Anthony Joshua has to get a trainer, not so much because a trainer, and this is where I think fame can be valuable. A trainer that has and makes loads and loads of money, they don't need this big purse from you so they can tell you, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong, you're losing rounds. And you don't have a trainer that doesn't need you, you have a trainer whose livelihood depends on their relationship with you, they're going to always be yes men. So I think he's in a real contrite position in terms of, is he taking the short route, jumping straight to Fury? I think he probably is. If he does that, if he does try to make this fight, because the reality is, if he loses this fight, it's over.
Shevin, this what I do wonder. Like I said, I do wonder if the large amount of Anthony Joshua fans, the ones who have gone missing, by the way, Shevin, the ones who used to send me some of the most vile abuse going, and I haven't seen an Anthony Joshua fan. Anthony Joshua fans be like that fucking steak and chips pie in M&S, all sold out. Can't find them anywhere, right? Are they thinking this one through? Because the man just come off a loss only a couple of months ago. I don't see... He's talking about a fight in December. What are we now? We're almost into September. So September plus negotiations, October, November. This man's going to have, 2.5 months to get ready. 2.5 months to get ready. The man's just come off 2 losses. I don't understand. He's always got a puncher's chance in a fight. I'm not saying he can't win the fight. He's got a puncher's chance against anybody. But realistically, what on earth can he change? What can he change that... What can he change that he needs? Or maybe it's just a fact of, listen, it's just not Usyk. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe, look, it's anybody but Usyk. I can't beat Usyk. I've been in with the ring with Usyk twice. He's too technical. He's too quick. He's a one-off heavyweight because of the way he fights, the style he fights. He's left-handed, all these things. Tyson Fury's not any of those things. Maybe it's just that. But I'm interested to hear, Shevin, from other people and also from people in the comment section. You know, people who want AJ to take this fight. What is it that you think AJ can change in 2.5 months? I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that, Shevin. What could he change in 2.5 months that's going to give him a good chance? That's going to give him more than a puncher's chance of beating Tyson Fury.
Well, I do think there's value in the sense of Usyk is a different fighter than Tyson Fury. Not saying Tyson Fury is going to be easier, but I think Tyson Fury poses challenges for Anthony Joshua that gives him a better chance because Fury is going to be in a position to AJ can land on him a whole lot better than he could land on Alexander Usyk just because he's a orthodox fighter. But I will say this, and people, I've been saying this for a while, someone else said this a few years ago, and they were talking about Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury and how AJ's so strong and he can really, Fury's not going to bully him around the ring. Let me tell you something. Tyson Fury is naturally, I repeat, he's naturally a lot bigger and stronger than Anthony Joshua. People get so fixated on muscle mass and all these kinds of things. Anthony Joshua naturally weighs about 215 to 220 pounds. They have that guy on a 7,000 calorie diet. He's not naturally a big guy. So Tyson Fury is naturally 285, 295 pounds. So Anthony Joshua is not going to bully Tyson Fury around the ring. However, I do think that Tyson Fury will be there to be hit for Anthony Joshua, which gives him a better chance versus Fury than Usyk, even though I think Fury is a better fighter than Usyk. I think Fury presents more opportunities, and I'm thinking that's probably what Anthony Joshua is thinking too.
Do you know what, Sharon? You can go, stay as long as you want. It's up to you, but don't let me hold you if you have to go. But stay as long as you want. Let me just say, and people are going to hit me for saying this. Styles make fights. Somebody in the comment section, I think it's Mark Cooper, made a good comment. He doesn't need to change. Styles make fights. You know, I agree with you on that. Maybe he'll find Fury's style easier, but I have to say one thing about Anthony Joshua, right? Hand on heart. I've been pointing out Anthony Joshua's technical flaws now for best part of a very long time. Okay, and when Anthony Joshua gets in with Tyson Fury, I hope people understand he's going to be getting in with someone who's 6'9". Yeah. He's going to be getting in with somebody who's 6'9", who arguably has quicker hands, but Anthony Joshua does have very deceptively quick hands himself. The difference is Tyson Fury telegraphs a lot less than Anthony Joshua because Tyson Fury knows how to feint. But anyway, that's a different conversation for a different day, okay? He's going to be in with somebody who's 6'9". He's going to have the height advantage. I believe Tyson Fury is going to have a reach advantage. I believe Tyson Fury, as you said, is arguably going to be physically stronger on the inside. Like I said before, I'm not 100% of the belief, that Anthony Joshua he might win the fight, but I don't think it's nailed on that he's going to have a better time of it with Fury than he will with Usyk. Because I've always said about Anthony Joshua when he gets in the ring with Fury, how is he going to get to the inside and how is he going to get close enough? I mean, he is, in my opinion, and like I said before, boxing's on the night. Can't write off Anthony Joshua. Boxing's on the night. But the way I'm thinking about it right now, September the 6th, 2022, I mean, he would struggle to get close to Tyson Fury. He would struggle to get past the jab. He would struggle to get past the double jab. He would struggle to read the feinting. It'd be all sorts going on. He struggled to the way he telegraphs on his shots versus the way how quick Fury's feet are and Fury's in and out movement. Like I said before, I'm just saying, there's a couple of people trying to advance the case that somehow Fury might be a much better style matchup than Usyk. I don't think that's necessarily a given. I think Fury's able to move in and out very quickly. I think Anthony Joshua telegraphs a lot of his shots when you show him distance, and I think there's a good chance that Fury might see them coming a mile off, in, out if he wants to. I think he has a better gas tank than Anthony Joshua. I think if they meet on the inside, like I said, AJ better puncher on the inside. If you ask offensively, who's better on the inside offensively, I would say Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was a better combination puncher on the inside, but then you've got, Fury leaning all over him. And Anthony Joshua's a man who's turned around and said that, he's not a 12-round fighter. Well, he's going to have a fucking 270-pound man fucking lying on top of him on the inside and leaning all over him and shit. Like I said, I'm just saying, I don't know what you guys think about that. Press 1 if you think I've got a point. Press 2 if you think I'm talking rubbish there. But I don't think that the AJ Fury matchup is I don't think it's a case of, he's definitely going to have a better time with Fury than AJ, but we'll have to wait and see. Shevin, do you have any other thoughts on the fight that don't involve purse splits, broadcasters or anything else that you'd like to say about the fight at all. I'm of the opinion there that I tell you what, Shevin, the promoters yet again, these promoters, and it's both of them, won't shut the fuck up, will they? They won't shut the fuck up and just make the fight.
It's like you said earlier. I was jumping your last point in a second. It's like you said earlier when we saw Wilder, Fury 1, 2, and 3. We have no idea what those guys are making with their split scores for the fight. They announced the fight. They made the fight done. We had no idea what Wilder versus Ortiz split were. They just made the fight happened, the fight's done. So when Frank Warren, I like Frank. Frank goes on Talk Sport and
what the fuck is he doing?
Simon George asked him some really good questions, right? And Frank, I'm not going to talk about this. I can't say this and this. Well, Frank,
so why are you on there, no motherfucker? It's true, isn't it? What the fuck are you doing on there? I can't talk about this. I can't talk. What the fuck are you doing on Talk Sport then? How about you fucking come on Talk Sport when you can talk about it? This is the problem with British boxing, isn't it? Does this happen as much in American boxing? I know we've got the negotiations between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, but for the most part, I haven't heard much about that. I've heard people making up shit, right, who don't know what they're talking about. But for the most part, like I said before, we don't see Al Heyman talking. I don't know. Am I wrong about that? That fight could happen. It might not happen. But guys, press 4 if you agree with me and press 5 if you disagree. But if you look at like Spence and Crawford in the States, right, we don't get the blow by blow daily soap opera. In Britain, when these fights get made, it seems to be like an episode of fucking EastEnders with fucking Shirley and Phil and fucking Little Mo and Trevor, and they're fucking smashing each other over the head with irons and burying each other in the back garden. Next minute, you've got Dirty Den and Angie coming out. Next minute, you've got Phil Mitchell coming out the fucking cupboard with a bottle of that. I mean, what the fuck is going on, Shevin? Am I right about that, Shevin? About Crawford and Spence?
That's a British thing. Now, you'll see some Crawford and Spence things on hardcore boxing YouTube channels, but mainstream media, sports talk television, ESPN, Fox, Showtime, they don't.
Yeah, but the actual promoters that are involved, the people that are involved, are they actually going on, saying, well, Errol's asking for 50-50, 60-40? Because it doesn't seem like that's happening as much. It doesn't seem like with the Crawford and Spence thing, it doesn't seem like we're getting the daily blow by blow. I mean, what we're seeing in a minute, it's only been day 1 of Fury versus AJ, this imaginary fight part 2, right? And it seems like go on.
Think about all the news we did not get before they announced Errol Spence versus Pacquiao. Not a word. Word. They said, boom, fight's on. Fight's on. And one thing I will say, back to the other point, my last point, in terms of Fury, I could see Anthony Joshua or his team thinking, because I think that everything you said about Fury's advantage, I can't think of one advantage Anthony Joshua has versus Tyson Fury, not one. However, I'm pretty sure Tyson Fury and Sugar Hill probably feel the same way. And maybe Anthony Joshua will be banking on Fury being overconfident, because Fury knows he can beat Anthony Joshua. He knows that. He knows that Anthony Joshua will be a lot easier fight than all 3 of his Wilder fights. So because he's thinking that, maybe he goes in on, like you said, boxes on the night. He's a little bit too overconfident, and he gets caught with something.
No pressure on Anthony Joshua.
Think about that.
No pressure on Anthony Joshua. That's the thing about Anthony Joshua.
You know what though? It's not because of that, but it's also pressure. If he loses this fight, he's finished. That's pressure alone.
Let's do a poll on that, Shevin. I just want to say, and Shevin, I want to ask you, first poll, right? I'm going to ask the guys in the chat. If Anthony Joshua loses this fight, is that the end? Shevin, do you think at the moment this fight will happen or that it won't happen? Shall I tell you what I'm doing, Shevin, in a minute? I'm going to get on Ticketmaster and book tickets for Tyson Fury versus Gabriel, the homecoming.
Right. Yeah, like, do I think this fight will happen? No. There's just too many hurdles to get over and there's too little time to get over them. There's a TV issue. 2.5 months. 2.5 months. 2.5 months. You got the TV issue. You got the WBC issue. They got fighters ranked way higher than Anthony Joshua. So those guys will have something to say about that. You have the DAZN. And let me say one quick question about DAZN, too. From a positive sense of DAZN, a positive sense. If you're DAZN, right, you just signed Anthony Joshua for his whatever deal, I don't know what the hell that was, some big deal, right? You didn't get his biggest fight versus Usyk, right? And he lost. So you're going to let him go off and fight another fight on some other TV network, and he's going to lose. And then come back to you. Like, what the hell? Like, why have I even invested all this money in this guy? He's lost the last 2 fights. I didn't get any kind of thing out of either one of them. So even for DAZN, it doesn't make sense for this fight to happen next for them either.
I'm not going to say anything, but I think it could end up anywhere. That's all I'm going to say. I think it could end up anywhere because I'm not sure who Fury's with. Let's put it that way. I'm not sure if Fury has an agreement, a cast iron agreement with anybody right now. So I think anything can happen.
Just the last thing I'll say about that, right? I agree. Anything can happen, right? But as a betting man, all the bettors in the chat will know this. When it comes to betting, you stick to trends, right?
True.
If Newcastle has never beat Arsenal on the road every single year, you bet your college tuition they're not going to beat them on the road, okay? And eventually, it's going to happen. But because it's never happened, it's highly unlikely to happen. That's what I say about the whole DAZN thing. Things that have never happened, they're not going to happen.
When this fight doesn't happen, Shevin, or if this fight doesn't happen, I tell you what, right? You know the last time we went through this shit before Fury and Wilder 3? The fallout was bad. This is going to be 10 times worse, you know? This is going to be 10 times worse. Then there's going to be nowhere to hide, you know? There's going to be nowhere to hide for Tyson Fury because he's fucking showing his big face all over on fucking Twitter. He's talking fucking splits. Frank Warren's going on fucking TalkSport telling everybody the blow by blow before the fucking fight's already happened. Eddie Hearn, you can't keep Eddie Hearn away from a camera. I'm sure Eddie Hearn's got camera. Eddie Hearn's the kind of guy who has mirrors in his bedroom. And you can't keep this guy away. Yeah, Eddie Hearn's got fucking mirrors on his ceiling. You can't fucking keep this guy away from a camera or from looking at himself or admiring himself. So I just think this whole thing is going to blow up here. I'm getting ready for fucking 60 days straight of purse bids, term sheets, agreements, ducking. You didn't want it. And if this doesn't happen, yeah, I don't give a shit. I'm going to come on here. I'm going to blame them all, Chef. Everybody's getting it because they've all left themselves, innit? They've left themselves no room for error, really, have they? They haven't really left themselves any room for maneuver. All right, Shevin, do you want to give your final thoughts on it, and then I'll get back to the chat?
Yeah, final thoughts before I crack on and listen is just to jump on what you just said. One, I think this fight does not happen. There's just too many hurdles to get over in a short period of time. The TV issue, the WBC issue, the AJ, if he loses his career, is over issue, the split issue. All these things can be ironed out, and they've been ironed out in the past. However, they're not going to be ironed out over 60 days. And you would have thought, to second the point you just made, Ultra, you would have thought that we learned, or the British media learned from the whole Wilder AJ 2018. It was the most exhausting thing in boxing sports history in my lifetime to watch that unfold.
Oh my God.
Yet, here we are again, and they're eating it up again.
But people don't understand. Let me just say, Shevin, what people don't understand is that people don't understand that they're being manipulated for clicks. Because guys like Michael Benson, right, know full well that there's a good chance that this fight won't happen, right? But he spends all day, right, on Twitter. Look at this stuff. Look how many posts Michael Benson's made today. He spends all day retweeting and posting and hyping people up. That's what's really going on, right? The people, the boxing fans, in my opinion, right, are just being manipulated for clicks and they're just being manipulated for interest. The smart people know that the odds are that this won't happen. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed not to happen. It might happen, right? But people in boxing who are smart know that the odds are, right, that this isn't going to happen. But they don't care. They're going to push it. They're going to push it to the moon. They're going to try and get clicks. They're going to try and get interactions. So they're going to be giving us the blow-by-blow 24/7. All right, Shevin, thank you very much. Go on.
My super last point is for Anthony Joshua, for Anthony Joshua's fans, for Anthony Joshua himself. Don't do what's best for DAZN. Don't do what's best for Eddie Hearn. Don't do what's best for British boxing fans or none of those people, okay? Do what's best for Anthony Joshua.
And what is best for him? And let me ask you, let me ask you in one sentence, what is best for him?
Go to China, fight Zhang.
Okay.
All right,
Chef. I appreciate it. Catch you in a bit. There you go. You heard it from Chev, and we still got 200 in the chat. I'm going to stay for a little bit. I don't think anybody wants to come on, but I'm just going to stay on for a little bit longer. I'm going to go through some comments. I did promise I'd go through your comments, so I will go through your comments quickly. We've got 199 in the chat, only 69 likes. Absolutely disgusting. That's now gone up to 204 and only 69 likes. That's still absolutely disgusting. If you would like to hit the like button, please feel free to do so. I will now go through your comments just to prove that I am not a super chat merchant, and let's see what's going on. Listen, what do you guys think about what's been said tonight? Have we, I wouldn't say changed your mind, because I know everybody wants to see this fight, but have we given you a fresh perspective on why it might not be right for Anthony Joshua to take this fight? Have we given you a bit of fresh perspective? When you think about it from Anthony Joshua's point of view, 3 out of 5 losses, last one was a bad loss, looked to have some serious issues that he needs to overcome in this post-fight interview, the infamous post-fight interview with Alexander Usyk, as you can see on the screen there. A couple of weeks ago, we were all turning around and saying, this is a man who needs to take a long break away from the sport of boxing. That's what we were all saying, didn't we? All of us who were on this channel, when we had like 500 or 600 people in the chat, we were all pretty much agreeing that Anthony Joshua needs to take time away from the sport. And literally 14 days later, we're all clamoring for him to send his ass back into the ring in December time. My opinion of it is I don't see it. You'd always give Anthony Joshua a chance in any fight because of the power that he has. He has fantastic power and he's a quality boxer. He's a world-class boxer in his own right. But I have to say, it's a big ask, isn't it? It's a big ask. If Fury is 100% there, and if Fury's, mind, body, and soul's into it, if Fury has had a good camp, if Fury's mentally there, if Fury's mentally stable, if Fury comes in at 100%, it's going to be a very, very big ask. And I will say this, he's in the ring with somebody who can knock him out for real. I'm not talking about Usyk, right? I'm not talking about Usyk, grind you down. Somebody said the other day, has Alexander Usyk scored a single knockdown yet at heavyweight? I think somebody said the other day that Alexander Usyk hasn't knocked down a single opponent at heavyweight yet. Maybe he knocked down Chaz Witherspoon. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. Let me know if I'm wrong. But I think somebody said to me that Alexander Usyk hasn't knocked down a single opponent yet at heavyweight. Listen, when he gets to the ring with Tyson Fury, right? I know Fury isn't thought of as a big puncher, but Fury's a very, very big man. And let me tell you, AJ gets hurt in that fight, or if AJ starts to do what he does in, if he gets to round 6 and 7 and he starts to fade like he does in fights, I mean, he could get taken out. That's the difference now between getting in with Fury, right? Getting in with Usyk, who's not really a true heavyweight, and getting in with someone like Fury, who is 6'9", 260, 270. AJ, no, I'm not saying he can't win, but he could genuinely get his lights put out in this fight, Genuinely. I don't think people understand that, He could genuinely get his lights put out in this fight. Genuinely. I mean, we saw what happened to Dillian White, with all due respect, and that was supposed to be one of Tyson Fury's toughest fights, and Dillian White, one shot, and lifted him off his feet with one shot, and he was gone. He was out before he hit the floor. He was semi-out before he hit the floor, so, like I said before, it's be careful what you can wish for. Right, let's get your comments in, and I'll read them now. Right, Snoop Blob, it's a big punt if you can pull it off, but it's a bad idea. I just think if he wins, it's a huge punt. It's a huge punt if he wins. Huge punt. Do you know what? Him beating Fury in that manner would be such a big win. I wonder if it's just worth retiring anyway after that. Or maybe he can go and make a few more millions, but there's going to be a rematch clause, obviously, but that would be a fantastic win if he could do it. Gary Harrison says he shouldn't take the fight, but 100% he will. Richard Barker says, Richard Barker says, I was amazed Eddie said AJ was going to fight in December against anyone. Exactly. This is what we were saying last week. AJ fighting in December. Who does that suit? I keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Hopefully, IFL TV forgive me for showing the stills, but this is Anthony Joshua post-fight against Alexander Usyk. Did this sound like a man who needs to be back in the boxing ring in December? It doesn't. I'm just calling it how I see it. Like, what I saw, this is August 21st. So this is fucking like 2.5 weeks ago. This is not a man that needs to be back in a boxing ring in December. So who does that suit? Because that, to me, that doesn't suit Anthony Joshua. All this crap about, he needs to be active. No, mate. Being active is not going to sort out the mental issues that he has, that he needs to overcome. Listen, Robert Garcia, what did Robert Garcia say in his post-fight analysis? Didn't believe in himself enough. Didn't go for it enough. Stood off Usyk too much. Didn't put the pressure on. Left it too late. So he still thinks the mental side needs to be worked on by Anthony Joshua, right? Then we saw obviously his post-fight, mental issues post-fight. Threatening to fight people in the crowd and the whole thing that, crying in the press conference. It all came out. That doesn't look like a man who needs to be in a ring in December time. What did Alexander Usyk say a couple of days ago? I can't find the quote, but Alexander Usyk said that he didn't have any hard feelings towards Anthony Joshua for what happened post-fight. But he said about Anthony Joshua, and even Usyk said he needs to get some people away from him. He's got too many hangers on around him. And Usyk was quoted as saying that a couple of days ago about Anthony Joshua. He said he needs to get people away from him. He has got too many hangers on. I'm just trying to find the quote. But that is what Alexander Usyk is quoted as saying about Anthony Joshua. So like I said before, it's not something that I'm just making up. Alexander Usyk thinks he needs to take, time away, sort himself out, sort his camp out, sort his trainers out, get rid of some of these people. You've got 30 people wandering around wearing 258 management t-shirts. You've got this coach from Finchley Boxing. You've got Angel Fernandez and Robert Garcia. You've got how many top fighters do you know that have got two coaches coaching them simultaneously? You've got two fighters, you've got two trainers training him simultaneously. Then you've got your man in Finchley Boxing Club, where he still goes back to. Plus, you've got fucking Tony Sims, Tony Sims wasn't at the fight, the Usyk fight. But we've seen Tony Sims backstage as well, giving AJ advice in some of his fights. How many coaches does this man need? How many members does this man need in his team? How many people has he got on the payroll? He needs to go away and sort it all out. If you shove him into the ring in December, can he win? Yes, he can. But will he win? Is it likely? What happens if he doesn't win? What happens if he gets knocked out? It is what it is. Big Guala says, Eddie Such Knight Hearn, read between the lines. There you go. Big Guala thinks that... Well, can I ask you guys a question? This whole... Eddie Hearn has said Anthony Joshua's fighting in December regardless, right? Who do you think that suits, Anthony Joshua or Hearn? If you think it suits Anthony Joshua to be active, and that's what you think, put in AJ now. Type in AJ. If you think that Anthony Joshua coming back in December, regardless of Fury or not Fury, in the UK, if you think that's good for Anthony Joshua, type in AJ right now. I don't mind. I just want to know your opinion. If you think it's good for Hearn, type in Hearn. Crazy D3 says Joshua needs to bring back AKA Skins. Jesus Christ. Let's get up. Where is that man at? We'll bring that man up while I read your comments. AKA Skins. Where's that dude at? AKA Skins up in the Light Skin Hall of Fame, innit? Along with the Hodge twins, Shevin. Who's in the Light Skin Hall of Fame? Shevin, Hodge twins, David Hay. Who else? Hold on. There's other people is in it as well, that Light Skin Hall of Fame. Who's in that Light Skin Hall of Fame? There's a few people in that are in it that I've forgotten, innit? There's a few people that are in it. This ain't him. Somebody send me AKA Skins Twitter handle. Let's see what's going on with AKA Skins. Crazy D3 says if he fights AJ, he's bumper blue do rag. Vic Wallace says the blue do rag guy is in the Hall of Fame. Hold on. I'll get up in a minute. He said the voodoo rag man is in the Hall of Fame. Let me get that voodoo rag up in a bit, man. Voodoo rag man is in the Hall of Fame. Let's have a look. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Let's have a look. Mark Cooper says AJ needs to go for it if the offer is there. However, he needs to. But Mark, how often do we keep hearing this though, Mark? AJ needs to go for it if the offer is there. However, he needs to fight the old AJ style. But we've heard this so many times. He needs to fight the old AJ style. Again, do you not think that it's not that he's fighting the old AJ style? Do you not think it's that he's just fighting better opponents? Because the old AJ style when he's fighting Gary Cornish, isn't it? And Kevin Johnson, Gary Cornish. Do you know what I mean? Rafael Zumbano Love, innit? That's when we saw the old AJ style, innit? But as he steps up the competition, maybe the old AJ style don't work no more. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll have to see, innit? Let's go through some other comments here. Blah 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 blah. Look, Gary Harrison says when Hearn starts saying things like the fight will be announced in 3 days, you know it's not happening. Listen, so far I have to blame Frank because Frank's the one who's fucking, like I said before, Frank's going on Talk Sport. Simon Jordan's asking Frank all these questions. Frank's turning around saying, well, I can't answer that. What the fuck are you on Talk Sport for? Simon Jordan thinks the fight cannot financially happen in the UK, by the way. I don't want to talk about the financials, but Simon Jordan's of the opinion, I've heard, that the fight can only happen in Saudi Arabia. So he thinks a lot of this talk about the UK is bollocks. That's what he thinks. He thinks a lot of this talk about the UK is bollocks and that a fight of that magnitude most likely to happen in the Middle East due to the amount of income and money that can be made. Guy called Henry says, I'd like to see a few more camps with Robert Garcia. He did some good stuff against Usyk. We'll have to wait and see. Robert Garcia wants Anthony Joshua to move to the USA and do camp there. Which, if this fight was to come off, I don't think Anthony Joshua would do camp in America, but I could be wrong on that. Let's have a look. Someone's got me Sir Skins' Twitter handle. A quick look at it. Get your comments and I'll read them. Do you think do you think it's the right move for Anthony Joshua to take this fight? If you want to vote in the poll is currently pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. We'll be here for another 5 or 10 minutes. 170 people here, so not everybody's left yet. Please hit the like button. If you'd like to ask a question or be part of the chat, please hit the subscribe button. Midweek special. 89 votes in the chat so far. 58% of people say if Anthony Joshua gets beat by Tyson Fury in this fight, that's the end of Anthony Joshua. His career's finished. I'll have to wait and see what will happen with that, but that's what they're saying. They're saying 58% of you, nearly 60% of you think that if Tyson Fury was to beat Anthony Joshua in this up-and-coming fight, if it happens, that would be the end of Anthony Joshua's career, and that would be it. Snazzy Azzy says, Ultra, I know people say yes men. Oh, here he is, the legend that is Sir Skins. He's still got AJ in his banner, ain't he? Look, Sir Skins. Look, there's the old AJ. They were the Hodge twins. Rotted. Look at the Hodge twins. This is before they started taking AJ supplements. Have you seen these two boys now? These two boys are bigger than AJ. These two guys on the right hand side. These two guys these days are both bigger than AJ. Before they start using AJ supplements. You man out here talking about we need to see the old AJ back. Well, there you go. Bring Sir Skins back. This is when AJ was in his peak. Look. The old AJ. Bring the old AJ back with Sir Skins. Sir Skins, that man has got the best Jericho in boxing. Period. Let's have a look. Director and co-founder of the Hangout, and he's got visionary spelled out there with loads of dots in between there. So there you go. It is what it is. And you can see Skinner here. Obviously still friends with Anthony Joshua because he's still capping for AJ there on Twitter. So it is what it is. There you go. Yeah. There you go. Look at the size. If you ever see these two here, I call these two the Hodge twins. These two these days are massive. They're bigger than AJ. It is what it is. Let's have a look here. Yeah, that's it, Richard. Bring back the IBO AJ. I agree. Zhang. Does anybody think that Zhang would be a tough fight for AJ? I think Zhang is a tough fight for AJ. I think AJ's favourite to come through that and win it by knockout because I think he's a level above Hrgovic. But Zhang is there to fight. Zhang ain't no joke, boy. Big Bang Zhang. That guy, man. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. That guy will eat shots all night and plod on forward, innit? That guy will plod on forward. I was going to make a joke there about communism, but then I thought, you know what? Probably best not to do it. Just Gas says, in my years of boxing experience, I have not seen a fighter that who comes close to AJ in terms of power, speed, and technique. Fury will be laying with his skull crushed against the canvas in round 1. Mark my words. I agree with you there, guys. I think Anthony Joshua definitely is, in terms of power, speed, and technique, one of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing. I would very, very much agree with you there. LH says, ironically, Sugar Hill would be perfect for AJ. A lot of people have said that, haven't they? That Sugar Hill Stewart is the coach that Anthony Joshua should have had. Because Anthony Joshua should be the one who's fighting like a big man, pushing forward behind the jabs, stiff jabs, setting up big right hands. What's that Kronk style? Kronk style is all about, I could be wrong, but isn't the Kronk style as well all about, I know it's all about jab right hands, but isn't a lot of it about balance as well? Like they're big teachers of balance. Punching properly, proper form when punching, really turning through your punches, but also, aren't they quite big believers in, I think, fixing your, because I'm pretty sure with Fury, like I said before, he's setting his feet more when he punches, possibly a bit more balanced when he's punching, possibly a bit more set when he's punching, driving the punches through a bit more, and you're starting to see the dividends, aren't you, in some of his recent fights. A few people mentioning Kenny Maloney in the chat. I absolutely will not be going there. King OP the Great says, AJ is 2022 Ja Rule. Had some bangers, but 50 Cent, aka Fury, ruined him, and Irv Gotti, aka Eddie Hearn. You man are cold. You man are cold. Called it AJ 2022 Ja Rule. He had a few bangers, but they're saying Fury 50 Cent ruined him, and they called it Eddie Hearn. Irv Gotti. They call it Eddie Hearn. Irv Gotti. I don't want to take the piss out of Anthony Joshua, yeah, but you know, I'll tell you that Eddie Hearn and AJ, aka Irv Gotti, Ja Rule and Ashanti. I wanna be your chick, only for the woo, baby. You know it's coming, innit? You know it's coming. You know, AJ done come out to that one bad man tune though, you know. When he come out against Usyk, he come out to the locks. All for the love. AJ came out like a bad man. Anyway, yeah, let me get off this. You guys are harsh, man. You are harsh. Richard saying, I was saying from the off that he should have gone for Jonathan Banks, like a latter-day Vladimir Klitschko. Get that jab and grab going. Shevin says, I've seen Sugar Hill curse Fury out in the corner. He don't lick Fury ass. That's why he's good for AJ. A few of you do love Sugar Hill Stewart at the minute, don't you? Sorry, let me see this. Nesta says, AJ's camp is trash. And like I said before, nobody's answering the question about all these coaches. Nobody can answer the question about all these coaches that AJ's got. Nobody can tell me the actual exact number of coaches that he has. How many people does he have coaching him on boxing? Let's go through his coaches. Hold on. Let me just go through Anthony Joshua's coaches. Is this man one of Anthony Joshua's coaches? Because he's giving him advice in group chats. Isn't he? Spencer Oliver. OBE. Is he an OBE or something? Or an MBE? Where's my fucking StreamYard gone? Look, this man here. Am I lying or am I not lying? Is this man Spencer Oliver not giving Anthony Joshua advice in group chats 24 hours before the biggest fight of his career? How many people does he have in his camp telling him how we should fight? Hold on, let's work this out. Right, Clifton Mitchell. Right, everybody, let's do this together. How many people are actually on Team AJ, either on the payroll or just associates, telling this guy how we should box? Right, Clifton Mitchell. Right, Clifton Mitchell. Spencer Oliver. Who's that dude in the crowd he asked before Usyk won? Who's that dude in the crowd he was asking before in Usyk won? AJ walking out. AJ walking out. Alexander Usyk won, and he's talking to a guy in the crowd. He's asking a guy in the crowd, "Yeah, oh yo, how you think I should go about this?" Do you remember that? Was that right? Was that Usyk won when AJ was in the crowd talking to people, and he's telling people, "Yo, how do you think I should go about this?" Spencer Oliver, Clifton Mitchell, Tony Sims. Some of the coaches down at Finchley Boxing Club, Robert Garcia, Angel Fernandez. There's more. I know there's more. How many people has he got advising him, telling him how to... Barry Hearn. He got Barry Hearn ringside telling him what to do. How many people has this guy got around him, telling him on any given night what he should do? Chisora? Yeah. Chisora and Bellew. Yeah, Big Walla. But he got Chisora. He got everybody. He got Chisora. He got Bellew. Hold on. He got Chisora, Bellew, Spencer Oliver, Clifton Mitchell, dudes in the crowd, Barry Hearn, Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, fucking Robert Garcia, Angel Fernandez. Fucking hell. He has got absolutely everybody. He's got everybody in. Do you reckon we can get away with doing a bit of Spencer Oliver? Does anybody want to hear some motivational speaking from... Tony Bellew, yeah, you got Tony Bellew telling him how to box. Hold on, does anybody want to hear some motivational speaking from Spencer Oliver? Hold on. Let's see. I haven't actually heard this, actually, believe it or not. Spencer Oliver got murdered for doing this, but let's see if we can get away with watching this together. One sec. If I can just find this, here we go. Right, let me know if you guys can hear the sound. Can you guys hear the sound on this? Yes or no?
You outboxed the fucking best.
I just paused it, but can you guys hear? Yeah, Joby Clayton, there you go. Joby, brilliant, AJ, brilliant. How many people? I'm not joking. We've just named 10 people. Who's in this group chat? Who's in this fucking Snapchat that he's got as well? Who's in that group chat telling him what to do before fights? Oh my gosh, right. All right, Big Koala, you wanted this, you're going to get it. All right, let me hear this. Big Koala saying, this is a proper brown nose thing, this. This is a proper brown nose thing. All right, let's hear it. I haven't heard this before, you know. Let's hear this bullshit. Hold on. Turn it up. Spencer Oliver. Spencer the Motivator.
Like that, and push. You outboxed the fucking best boxer in the world for rounds. You beat him at his own game. Your game plan was perfect. It's perfect. He nicked it just at the end. He nicked it at the end. He was fucking around. That's all it was. But that fight up until 10 was dead fucking level. You was.
my gosh. Is this for real? I'm not joking, you know. This is the very, very first time I've actually seen this, you know. I'm not joking because if you guys remember, as soon as the fight was over, we did the live, didn't we? I was on a live show for 4 or 5 hours. Yo. AJ does have some people blowing bare smoke up his jacksie, didn't he? With all due respect to Spencer Oliver, yeah? And all he achieved in boxing. No disrespect, but see, this is the problem. See, how do you clean these guys out in 2 months? But you, man, want AJ to go in the ring. What is it that Castillo says? On a big man ting, yeah? Is that what Castillo says? On a big man ting, yeah? You want AJ to get in the ring in the next fucking 12 weeks. How's AJ going to clean all these men out of his group chat? Rumour has it that group chat's still active. AJ hasn't booted all the men out of the chat yet. The chat's still active. That group chat is still active. Right, let's hear this shit. On a big man ting, yeah? You all want AJ to go back and go and fight Tyson Fury in December with fucking Spencer Oliver giving him this kind of information. Let's hear it one more time.
Like that, and push. You outboxed the fucking best boxer in the world for rounds. You beat him at his own game. Your game plan was perfect. It was perfect. He nicked it just at the end. He nicked it at the end. He was fucking around. That's all it was. But that fight up until 10 was dead fucking level. You was outboxing the best boxer in the world. Your stock rose, mate. You rose. Like you come out of that with victory, mate. Like honestly.
Even AJ's like, look, AJ's like, fuck. Look at AJ's like, even AJ can't believe it himself. Look at this dude, look.
You rose, like, you come out of that with victory, mate. Honestly.
Do you know what, yeah? You can see AJ, innit? He was watching. I'm gonna put the sound off. Just if you watch his head when he drops, he's thinking budget cuts, innit? AJ's thinking budget cuts. He's thinking budget cuts. He's thinking, all you man in that group chat told me I was gonna win. Now you man telling me that I boxed this man's head off and beat him at his own game, yeah, and it only came down to the last 2 rounds. That was what you boys were saying in that group chat 2 days ago. Look at the disappointment in his face. AJ's thinking, shit, how many of these brothers have I got on the payroll? It's time for some budget cuts. Look, oh shit, how many of these brothers have I got on the payroll? Time for some budget cuts, mate. Time for some budget cuts. Anthony Joshua looking like fucking. Only if you're into politics will you get this. But Richie will get this. Anthony Joshua looking like Ian Duncan Smith in a Job Centre Plus. It's time for budget cuts. It's time for budget. Sorry, let me carry on. Sorry.
You come out of that with victory, mate. Like honestly, you know, if there was any doubt.
It's Gareth A as well. Look at this clown, look. Gareth A's in there with him, look. Hey. Just what you need when you've done fucking 24 hours of Usyk. Gareth A. Davis. Gareth A. Davis adding to the smoke. Gareth A. Davis adding to the smoke. Oh my gosh, man. Alistair Ninian saying, man dropped his head thinking, woo, look at him. He's just dropping his head thinking, shit, I need to get rid of these gas man. Bare gas man up in the camp. Need to get rid of all these gas man. And then Gareth A. Davis trying to talk over Spencer. Can you see this one more time? Can you see how desperate they are to get this shit in? Gareth A. Davis won't even let Spencer Oliver talk. He's so desperate to get his shit in. Let's hear it again.
At the end, he was fucking around. That's all it was.
It's Styles. It's Styles.
Right up until 10 was dead fucking level. You was outboxing the best boxer in the world. Your stock rose, mate. You rose. Like you come out of that.
Can you hear Gareth A. Davis? You was up on a card. You was up on a card.
With victory, mate. Like honestly, you know, if there was any doubters out there now, bro, there's fucking none now at all.
All right. Oh my gosh, that's the first time I ever seen that. You know. All right. This is the man that you want. So you guys want him back out, yeah? You guys want him back out. We're going back out in December, yeah? That's what you guys want, innit? Back out in December, yeah? Is it the old gang, innit? The old gang, back out in December. Spencer Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, featuring Spencer Oliver, Gareth A. Davis, Clifton Mitchell, Robert Garcia, Angel Fernandez, Joby Clayton, Eddie and Barry Hearn. Fucking hell. All I'll say is this in closing. Anthony Joshua's fucking training team, the amount of people he's got blowing smoke up his ass. You know what? They need an entire credit section. Do you know what I mean? They need an entire credit section. You know, like at the end of a movie, the credits just start rolling down the stream. That's how many man AJ got in his team. That's how many man AJ's got in his team. When they all go, they have to just roll the credits. Roll up the credits. If I can get this up. Excusez-moi. That's what it likes. All the man in AJ's team. Just rolling the credits, innit? Anyway, it is what it is. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you very much for sharing, for coming on. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to hit the like button. If you'd like to be part of the chat next time, please feel free to hit subscribe. I hope you found it semi-entertained. And peace out.